Hey guys, good morning. So as you all know that Q1FY24 banking updates have already started to come, and I'm going to be discussing about the updates given by the four banks so far: South Indian Bank, Federal Bank, Bandhan Bank, and IndusInd Bank. So first, I'll take those banks up individually, and I'll talk about certain parameters. Like first is I'll have to again like go through like what is the breakup of the loan book of the bank, right? Or else all these advances and deposit growth number will make no sense, right? If you don't understand what is the breakup of the loan book, then of course I give you the growth in advances and deposits of the bank, and give you certain snippets of what the banks are going through. Say for example, the problems at Bandhan Bank, or what is happening with the management at South Indian Bank. Okay. So let's get started. Let's get started with South Indian Bank. So first of all, South Indian Bank, if you see the breakup of the loan book, it's a corporate bank. So I have my copy here, so where I've written down notes so that I don't forget any of the facts. So if you see, right, South India Bank has a 30% of the book is corporate, and business loan is 27% of the book. So you can clearly say like 50-60% of the book is more into corporate and wholesale and into wholesale. Then they also have a fairly big agriculture lending division, which is 20%. And of course there is a personal division which contributes around 23% of the book. So if you see South Indian Bank is more of a corporate bank than a retail bank, right? You see like examples of ICICI Bank, right? If you look at the book of ICICI Bank, most of the loans are retail in nature. I mean, it's more retail than corporate. But here, South Indian Bank is more of a corporate bank than a retail bank. So I mean, it's not that a retail bank has an advantage over corporate bank or anything, but you have to understand the nature of the book here. Okay, next is advances and deposits. So advances has grown by 14.5% on a YOY basis, and deposits have grown by 8.3% on a YOY basis. Now, if you can see like these are fairly disappointing numbers in a way, right? Because if you look at the system credit growth, it will definitely be more than 13, 14, 15%. But also having said that, South India Bank has been doing well lately, because these are the banks that suffered a lot. They were going through a lot of problems in pre-COVID, as well as when COVID came, they had to do a lot of provisions, and now they're cleaning up the books and they are just growing the book slowly. Okay, so that's why you can see that like even if you compare it with last year to this year, I think the rate at which the loan book is growing is also going up. Okay, so that's more or less about it. Second is CASA ratio for the bank is 32.6%. Okay, so this is the situation of South Indian Bank. Now, what is the management situation here? So South India Bank appointed a new CEO back in October 2020, right in the middle of COVID. So the disappointing thing is that his tenure has not been renewed. So his last working day will be, I think, October of 2023, and South India Bank is in the hunt to look for a new CEO. So sometimes these are the kind of things I don't like in a bank, because because banking is all about management, right? So if I don't know who's the new CEO going to be, what will be his nature like, what is his experience, where has he worked, right? So it becomes a problem for me to invest in businesses like South India Bank. That's also probably why you see the stock lying way below book value. Okay, I mean, if a stock lies way below book value, it lies below book value for a reason. Although the stock has recovered quite a bit after the bank has started improving on its asset quality parameters and on its growth parameters and on the ROE parameters. But having said that, if a bank doesn't have a CEO, I wouldn't put my hard-earned money behind it. Okay, let's move on to Federal Bank again. Federal Bank, nothing to complain. Federal Bank has been performing very, very well. So the advances growth of Federal Bank is 21% on a YOY basis, and the deposit growth is also 21%. Now, if you compare it with South India Bank, you see the difference, right? One is 14% growth in advances, Federal Bank is 21% growth. जबकि Federal Bank भी South India Bank की तरह एक बहुत ही पुराना बैंक है, right? Both based in the southern parts of the country. So if Federal Bank can grow its book at 21%, then South India Bank, right, is lagging behind at a 14% growth. So second is like, for example, if you look at the book of Federal Bank, if you see Federal Bank is more of a retail bank than a wholesale bank. So retail is 54% of the book, and wholesale and corporate is 46% of the book. Even in retail, if you see, majority of the loans are into home loans and loan against property. So Federal Bank has a big chunk of its retail loan in mortgage, in housing loan, loan and loan against property. Okay, and of course followed by gold loan है, personal loan है, फिर उसके बाद you have auto loans as well, right? But then having said that, Federal Bank is a 54%, 46%, 54% towards retail, and in that 54%, a large chunk is into mortgage. So that's Federal Bank for you. IndusInd Bank, again, let's understand the book first. So IndusInd Bank has two major divisions here. First is like IndusInd Bank has a 26% of its book in vehicle finance, and under vehicle finance, majority of the book is in commercial vehicle. So like the first thing when I say commercial vehicle, you would think like, okay, the commercial vehicle space has done well, right, in the last 2-3 years after COVID, and of course that's why IndusInd Bank has also gotten like benefited from it. So 1/4 of the book is vehicle finance led by commercial vehicle उसमें है. फिर उसके बाद they have car loans and 3-wheeler loans, tractor loans, as well as all those things. Now in the remaining part of the book, the other important thing is like there is a microfinance book. Microfinance is 11 to 12% of the book, right? So 26% is your vehicle finance, 12% is your microfinance book, right? And the remaining part of the retail book, so retail is around 54% of the total book, okay, out of which 26 and 12 are vehicle finance and microfinance. बाकी जो है वो सब आपका बिजनेस बैंकिंग है, फिर आपका क्रेडिट कार्ड है, राइट, पर्सनल लोन्स वगैरह वगैरह है, बिजनेस लोन्स है. Okay, and also of course, right, the remaining part of the book, the 40-45% of the total book, the remaining part of the book of IndusInd Bank is into lending to corporates, right? Large corporates, mid corporates and small corporates, जहाँ पे large corporates पे ये लोग ज़्यादा focus करते हैं. Okay. So now let's come to Bandhan Bank, and I will tell you Bandhan Bank is the most problematic bank among the four. Okay, so Bandhan Bank, I'll tell you the structure here is like. So Bandhan Bank का अभी भी 60% of the book is into lending to microfinance sector, the group loans which they call as EEB. Okay, so 60% of the book अभी भी उनका microfinance sector में group joint lending group loans जो देते हैं वहाँ पे है. Remaining part of the book are basically housing and the commercial lending part. Okay, and they also have a very small division of retail as well. Now this is the problem. Okay, Bandhan Bank has suffered probably the most among all the banks in COVID. Okay, and then right after COVID, Bandhan Bank also had to face the Assam floods, because if you look at the geographical distribution of Bandhan Bank, most of the branches are still in the eastern side of India, in Bengal. Because if you look at the history of Chandrasekhar Ghosh, he's from Bengal, and so Bandhan Bank has more presence in the eastern side of India. So when the Assam floods came, Bandhan Bank again got severely affected. So now what the plan of Bandhan Bank is to diversify away from the east. So they actually said on the con call, I think in Q3 or in Q2, whatever, okay, like in the last fiscal, that they are going to not have more than 30% of their business coming from the eastern parts of the country. So they're trying to become a pan-India bank, right? So that's one of the thing, right? And it takes a lot of time to become pan-India banks and all that. So that's one of the thing. Second is, say for example, okay, recently there's been a news coming, okay, like even the CFO has resigned, right? So COVID, Assam flood, now CFO resigning, right? Diversifying away from east to the other parts of the country. And also if you look at that, what Bandhan Bank is trying to do is to change the DNA of itself. Kaise? Because going forward they understood, okay, like because microfinance space is cyclical and they've gone through so much trouble, they are focusing more on the secured part of the book. So going forward, they have a plan for 2025 where they want to reduce the microfinance book to the level of 25% of the whole book. Currently, they are at 50-60% of the whole book. 50k, 45-50k aspas hoga of the whole book is microfinance. They want to reduce, because see, microfinance are unsecured, right? Microfinance are low ticket unsecured loans that you give out. So 50% से उसको घटा के 25% करेगा, and they want to increase the contribution of mortgage. Mortgage of course is secured asset, right? And second is commercial lending as well, auto loans and everything वो सब उसमें आएगा. So that means what? That means so many changes is happening in Bandhan Bank. The bank is into so much trouble. The CFO left, right? मेरा कहना है कि like why go into Bandhan Bank and make life miserable, right? I see a lot of investors here who try to get into Bandhan Bank and thinking कि like okay stock सस्ता हो रहा है, like 700 rupees में था IPO के टाइम, अभी घट के 200 में आ चुका है, so Bandhan Bank में ले लेते हैं. But my point is कि like there are much better financials, there are much better banks, much better NBFCs, right, with high ROE. अब देखोगे बंधन बैंक का ROE number has also plummeted. So why do all those things, right? क्यों जाना है, right? So this is more or less about the 4 banks, right? What I will be doing is like I'll be covering up the like this the other banking update. By the way, this is the banking update, not the Q1 का earnings result. That's why you see me not talk about NPAs and asset qualities and NIMs and all that, because this is just an update that the banks give before the financial earnings season starts. So on that note, I hope you learned something from this. If you have any questions, you can always comment on Twitter or on my YouTube video. Thank you so much.